Now, many of you may know this. Came out on the internet a few years ago. It's called Life in 5 Chapters. It's the story of how we can change our habits, our self-defeating habits. I walk down the street, there's a hole, I step in it. Yeah, I get confused. I walk down the street the next day, I step in the same hole. I step in the same hole. Eventually, oh, I'm in this hole. I learn how to get out a little bit more quickly. And eventually, I see the hole, I walk around the hole. Yeah, I don't step in that hole. Yeah. Eventually, I might even walk down another street so I don't even encounter the hole. Yeah. It's just lovely. It's lovely. If only habits were so linear like that, all the time. The real challenge, in my experience, is that in times of stress, in times of greater stress, there's more likely a tendency for us to step in some of those holes again. The ones we've already learned quite well don't serve us when we step in them. And it's one of those pointed things about our human nature. Sometimes when we're more stressed, we do less of the things to take care of ourselves and more of some of those things that we know aren't going to be helpful, might even increase the stress, And so there's a tendency to step in that hole, and we'll wonder about that with you this morning, because I think it's all of our tendency. I can step in the hole. I just feel like stepping in it today. I can step in the hole because I deserve it. I can step in the hole because I'm not worthy. I can step in the hole because I'm attached to my suffering in a strange way. I can step in the hole because everything is changing. Everything is getting darker there. Life is not going to be the same. So why does it matter? I'm stepping in the hole because it seems like so many of us are stepping in the hole. Let's play the game called Step in the Hole. And suddenly we just find ourselves in that place where that doesn't feel so good. It's like a low-grade chronic stress, And a good example. And one hole can lead to another as well. This is tricky. Okay, I already know, I knew this before this, all what's going on now, that it wasn't great for me to watch the news, any news, right before going to bed. 11 o'clock news was fine when we had Walter Cronkite, But I know it doesn't serve me right before bed. But let me just check it for a few minutes. Now I check it for a few minutes, and exactly what I would expect to see. No, I have a hard time sleeping. Now I'm lying down and I'm having a hard time sleeping because it's generating more anxious thoughts. Now I'm going to give myself a hard time because not only am I not sleeping, but I knew better than to turn that on just before I went to sleep. Why did I do that to myself? So now I'm in the doubt hole. Now there's a self-doubt hole that's going. Not only that, I wake up the next morning and I haven't slept so well and I'm feeling a little cranky because I didn't sleep so well and because I doubted myself. And I might say something a little sharp to someone else. Now I'm in an interpersonal hole. So one hole can lead to another. We can do hole hopping, during times of stress. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And there can be media holes. There can be food holes. Eating too much of the stuff that we know isn't going to make us feel good. And then there can be the internal holes of discouragement, of doubt, of fear, of anxiety. And we'll find ourselves in them, but wanting to bring special attention now, not just to do some of the things that we know are good, would be good for us, like we discussed yesterday, but just to not do the things that we know are not good is important, especially during this time, for all of us. Yeah.
We regress in times of stress. The practice asks us to just notice what's going on. so we can learn how to make a good relationship with what's going on. So just notice, no judgment. You just saw something that's uncomfortable, that we really don't want to see. We don't want to see that we're overeating or that we're kind of doing the habits that cause us harm. We don't really want to see that. So we want to honestly, deeply appreciate that we had the presence of mind to notice that's what's running, that's what's going on right now. And in doing so, by noticing that, we have the opportunity to make little course corrections. How might we, in this moment, right now, having seen that, how might we readjust? Readjust accordingly toward well-being. That's the name of the game. That's the name of the game.
And we'll talk about this another time, but that's part of how we understand renunciation. It's giving up the things that we know aren't good for us, not giving up the things that are contributing to our well-being. Yeah? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we can do this in meditation as well. And as we go into this meditation, some of you are familiar with the technique, if you will, of labeling certain, especially certain thought patterns that might be running. There are a lot of thought patterns that are running these days for us, all of us, right? It's a tendency to proliferate more. One of the things I find helpful in labeling these days in meditation is hole. There's a hole. I see that hole. I see the hole. And it's a rabbit hole. If we can see it a little bit sooner, I don't want to go down that hole right now at this time when I'm settling in my meditation. Just the label hole can help.